Welcome, everybody, to the Genesis Mindset. What I'm going to be doing in today's episode is elaborating on yesterday's episode about this living organism, about this pulse chain city. So, what I'm going to be doing is going through the math, the formula, and it's not, honestly, it's not going to be the type of formula that you think where you can just take that formula and apply it and then that's it, game over. This is like months and months, if not years, of research and understanding. So, this is just trying to share this information in a way that I feel like is going to positively benefit everybody. But there's certain things that, there's certain things that I definitely need to clear up. So the living organism. So I'm going to start calling it the living organism, the pulse chain city, the living organism. I'll interchange between this terminology. So please understand, this is not comfortable for me. I already feel the waves of negativity and judgment. Even now, I feel extremely uncomfortable because I can feel the ocean of the mind, and it's very uncomfortable. I don't actually want to do this. There's a part of me that doesn't want to do this. It's making me extremely uncomfortable. I would much rather, it's actually a lot better if I just keep this to myself. So my boy Muddy, he's encouraging me not to do this actually. It's better if we just keep this to ourselves and we just do it amongst ourselves. And already there's people who are already doing this type of thing and they're already telling me like it's better not to talk about it. So please understand, this is an extremely uncomfortable thing, but I'm doing it out of good intentions. I'm doing it out of the idea that if everybody does this, then everybody can win together. That's what I'm doing it out of. So you don't actually have to do anything. Like I said, it's better for my psyche to just keep it for myself. It's it's extremely uncomfortable, but I'm sharing it at my own expense because it's just my nature. I can't fight against my own nature. So the experiment, again, each time it gets more clear. So the experiment, it's a math experiment, but it's not just a math experiment. It's also a mind experiment. So the core concept is to become self-autonomous by becoming a part of the whole. And in that process, increasing the self-autonomy of the whole. So at the same time, you are a contributor to the whole and you're giving to the whole. And in that process, you're also able to take back from the whole. By taking back, you can also give back. So it's this feedback loop. It's this concept of true self-reliance because the part becomes the whole and the whole becomes the part. Now, the donations, this was always going to be something that I even felt uncomfortable talking about it, but you don't actually have to donate anything. I don't need your money. I don't it's not about that. I mean, like I thought, oh yeah, I thought $100 is actually not that much, and it's for token founders. So the people who are already doing this will have they'll have tokens with liquidity of, for example, like a few thousand liquidity, but their market cap might be like hundreds of millions, not hundreds of millions, like hundreds of thousands to like a million. So for them to donate 100, it's nothing. It's really nothing. It was for those types of people because it's supposed to create a network effect of that type of tokenomics. So if you're donating to help change the world. So consider that money going directly to the world. It's not going into lining my pockets and I'm going to go buy Lambos and mansions. If you don't trust that, don't like, if you don't trust me by now, don't donate. Simple as that. I don't want the negativity. I don't need the negativity. I don't like all. As a matter of fact, if you have that mindset, you don't even need to, just don't even consider it because like I have my own liquidity. I can do it by myself. And as a matter of fact, if you have that negativity, please don't. I don't actually want your money. I only want this from grateful and positive people because this is an experiment also in mindset. So if you want to donate, you're donating to a cause that I believe will change the world and make it a better place for everybody. So like I said, if it works, it's for you to actually replicate. It's a different way of thinking about tokens. It's not a token to buy. It's a new way of thinking. Because if it works, everybody can actually replicate it and plug into the living organism. The token becomes the energy for the next layers of tokens. So for example, in the way that existing token founders might give me tokens to bond with my tokens, and then that creates this arbitrage opportunity, I also in turn would gladly give my tokens to more people that are coming into this way of doing things. So if it works, Each new person plugs into the system and everybody keeps contributing. And by us giving to that new person and that person contributing into that system, it's in the benefit of everybody. It creates a ripple effect that lifts up everybody. So it can kickstart something from people like myself to help generate yield. So it's just giving energy to the system, perpetual energy to the system. So now the math, again, I have to be clear. It's not like, yeah, it's not the kind of math where it's like, oh, hey, 1 + 1 = 2. And it's like, oh, thanks, Stephen. I'll just go put 1 + 1 = 2 into the cryptocurrency Pulsex and I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. It's not that kind of math. So the math is like conceptually what the math is, theoretical math. It's not like, so the math is the volume, and the math of the volume itself will be worked out through this process. So the volume that the token is going to create will be based on the liquidity pools that it's connected to. And that's something that I'm going to have to work out. That's something that I'm in the process of working out as we speak. But also the experiment of actually launching it and trialing it and watching it and testing it, then I'll be able to refine the math. And then I'll be able to tell everybody, okay, the best thing to do is put this much liquidity in this token, this much liquidity in this one, this much liquidity in this one, this much liquidity in that one. You want to have this type of liquidity here, that type of liquidity there, that type of liquidity there. So there's like there's an art and a science to that as well, which I'm not going to know until I fully do it. But I do know that it's going to work on volume, and more volume is better. So volume multiplied by arbitrage tax. So with the Atropa ecosystem, everything works on arbitrage to uplift the system. So the arbitrage tax multiplied by the users. So the users are the new tokens. So you yourself are a token, you yourself are a user. It's not about you buying my token. It's not about that. I don't want you to buy my token. Really, I want you to actually replicate this process if it actually works. So the user, in the terms of the mindset, gratitude and selflessness. If you're greedy, if you're negative, if you want to just extract, please ignore all of my videos. Just this channel is not for you. It's not for you. Gratitude and selflessness is what this channel is about. The mindset, the Genesis mindset, and that should equals everybody wins. The math is also in the tokenomics. So the tokenomics, you can really think of it in the sense of hex. That's all I can say for now, because the tokenomics is also going to be worked out in the process. It's not an exact thing. The people that I'm talking to, they all have their own tokenomics, how they distribute the supply. And I think that's part of the magic of the formula. That's what Muddy's worked out. That's really the genius of this, where, again, we just keep it to ourselves, and it would just be so much better. We can just do it for ourselves, keep it in the background, and we just win by ourselves. But I'm trying to create a network effect that's going to help everybody win, because really, think about hex. Wouldn't it be great if you had your own hex, which nobody can dump the price on? You don't have to rely on 1,000 or however many users are in hex who, like, oh, you have to rely on them to not dump. You have to trust for them to not dump. At the same time, like, you also have to like compete against each other in that sense. So what this actually does is you have your own hex. You're the custodian of your own hex. You take care of it, and you're leveraging off the power of the network, off the power of each other, and contributing to each other in the same process. So again, the part becomes the whole becomes the part. So it's not just some easy mathematical formula that I can explain. It's like, I'm sure there's like some movies where someone has like an enlightenment and then all these dots connect in their mind. Like, that's what it's like. It's not like, oh, okay, that's the math. And here it is, guys. It's 3 + 5 + 7 multiplied by 25 equals 758. That's the math. Okay, go ahead and do it now and we all win. Again, this is months. This is months and years of like learning and understanding, both from, again, a lot of this credit goes towards Muddy, and then the credit goes towards a network, because Muddy's learned from the network. We've all learned from each other. And now I am actually trying to apply that logic to a grand scale, to a total scale. So everybody, again, who's already worked something out like this is telling me to keep it to myself. So it's to my own detriment. So you don't have to give anything. You don't have to do anything. If you don't like the idea, just ignore it. I'll keep doing Atropa videos, I'll keep doing Pulsechain videos, but I really do feel like this is going to be something very powerful. So with that, what I want to actually do now is I want to actually go into, just very quickly, very briefly, I'm going to start showing the Atropa charts again to emphasize this point. So I'm not going to play this particular video, but I will share this video in the description. So this was steady pup, pulse pup, a pup with a steady nature. And this is his liquidity map that he's created for PLS Pup. So it's his own ETF. So this is essentially the concept that I'm trying to do, but we basically figured out a way. Well, we figured out a way that we believe is definitely going to be awesome if we just do it on our own. I'm trying to figure out a way of, okay, can we actually do it so everybody wins at the same time? So we all do it. We're not harming each other and we're all winning. So what I'll do is, because this is all Hart's law, it's utilizing the power of Hart's law, which is why, again, it's for me, it's so beautiful and perfect for Pulsechain. I'm not going to play this because it's seven minutes and it's part of a bigger stream with Steady Pup, but I'm going to link this in the description. So definitely listen to this and get an understanding of what arbitrage is, because arbitrage is what the math of this actually works on. And I can't tell you what the arbitrage math is. It's not about the exactitudes of the math in that way. So, okay, so let's go into the charts now. So here we go. So now a lot of the boys in some of the chats that I'm in are talking like, basically the only thing that needs to happen is this just needs to get bought up. So this is DAI stablecoin, so PDAI. And again, look at this chart. So now this has connections to many, many tokens. And again, go look at the Atropa for Dummies video. If you want the Atropa for Dummies video, I go into detail more about these sorts of things. Again, it's not something that's just easy to explain in one go. That's why I'm trying to deliver it in a way that I feel like people are going to understand. So this is actually like, basically what the boys are saying is this, if everybody just buys PDAI, it can lift up the whole of the Atropa ecosystem. So if everybody just continues to buy PDAI, they just buy PDAI, all the volume goes into PDAI through the power of, now PDAI is connected to, let's just get some circles, cute little circles. So obviously PDAI is liquidity bonded to many different tokens, many different tokens. So what, here we go. So I'm just going to put a few here. So PDAI is liquidity bonded to many different tokens. So you can almost consider it like, if I was a physicist, if I was a mathematician, I would be a theoretical mathematician or a theoretical physicist. I'd be like Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein wasn't actually good at the math. That's me. I'm going to sit here and admit to you, like, I was good at math in high school. I was an A student, all that. But yeah, I'm not like a math genius. I mean, Maria is a math genius. Maria is a goat math genius, because Maria is the one that's worked all of this out. So now, because of the liquidity bonding, all that needs to happen is this, if this keeps getting bought up, all these tokens that it's interconnected to through the power of arbitrage is lifting up all these other tokens with it. So all that needs to happen is nobody needs to buy Atropa, nobody needs to buy Bear, nobody needs to buy TSFI. I would strongly recommend, like, not financial advice, that you definitely have some of those. I mean, I certainly have some of those, because it's amazing to have access to the whole system. But at the same time, because of the way this system actually works, all that needs to happen is just this needs to go up. And what it's going to do is it's going to carry up all the other charts, which is exactly what you're essentially seeing across the board. Everything is liquidity bonded. So a lot of these charts are similar. So this is Atropa getting pulled up. This is Teddy Bear getting pulled up. Now, they have variances in the chart due to the buying and selling that individually happens within the chart. But if there was no buying and selling that individually happened within the chart, essentially what they would do is they would basically move in a very similar pattern to PDAI if it just was connected to if they're connected to all of each other and just PDAI is getting the volume, these are all going to basically move in a similar fashion to PDAI. The thing that actually gives it, or you could say, life and variance is the market, the arbitrage, the different opportunities, the ratio trading. And that's also what makes it interesting. The market gives it a life, gives it a vibrancy. And this is the beauty of it. And this is also what hopefully the network of tokens ends up doing, where hopefully, again, it's like grateful people, not greedy people, selfless people that actually understand that we can also at the same time wreck each other's charts. If someone's too greedy, it could destroy another person's chart. So there's going to be a particular math to that as well. So now this is Teddy Bear. So it has its variances due to the market's interaction with it. All across the board, all across the board. So TSFI, again, slightly different, and the differences are in the way that they're bonded and the percentages of bonding to different tokens. So TSFI's bonding to PDI will be different to its bonding to Atropa. So therefore, it's going to move and fluctuate more with Atropa than it is with PDI. For example, I don't actually know it off the top of my head. Same as BFF. So BFF was an experiment in showing that low liquidity. So just like Hex had very low liquidity, huge supply, but low liquidity. So Hex did. That's why Hex was able to do a 10,000x. So now BFF, I'll get rid of some of these lines because they're a bit old. But have a look at this BFF crew, my boys. BFF, that the late. Look at this. We are holding up. Just for the record, I want to shout out the BFF crew for this. So this. We identified as a key level, as a what our boy Moon King would call a magnet here. So we've held up here. So, but the test is still going to be if we still have to survive this area. So we had a bit of sideways action here before we had this big dump here with this candle here. This to me just said everything about like FOMO and greed. It was like, oh, we've got up quickly to 8K, dump. I've got to take my opportunity. Everybody's thinking 8K. And again, screw the 8K. To hell with the 8K. I'm going to delete the 8K. I don't want that 8K there anymore because everybody thinks 8K is just the end goal, but it's not. Zaki Boos, where you at, Zaki Boos? Tell the boys 8K, forget 8K, we're going to 10. So we're going to 10. 10's our target because if we say 8, everyone thinks 8's the end, but it's not, man. 8's just the beginning. You have to switch your mindset up. So let's just shift this across here. So we got 10. So shout out to the BFF that the late. So BFF that the late. So we do need a hold here. So now that's beside the point. I've got plenty of BFF videos. Definitely become one of the bestie freedom fighters. We're here for a cause, man. We're here for a movement, the Atropa movement. Now, I always love to show TRSI because it's one of the best examples, in my opinion, for the power of liquidity bonding. Any other chart, everything on base chain has this. And yeah, it'll go up. Oh, wicked. And then it would just go down. And then everybody who was holding is just like jeeting out. Oh, didn't get a chance to sell, so I'm going to jeet out, and it's dead. But then you plug it into the living organism, which is the Atropa ecosystem, the Atropa movement, and then away she goes. So she's plugged in, away she goes, and up, and away she goes. And then obviously, again, it fluctuates according to what the market is actually doing, and its movements are related to the math behind the bonding and what it's bonded to and how much it's bonded to which token and then how much that token moves compared to this token. So there is a math to that. There is a science. There is an art to that I'm hoping to also work out. There won't be like an exactitude, but again, there'll be like a theoretical core model of like, let's just say hypothetically, 1/3 of like really high volume, 1/3 of really low volume, and then 1/3 of tokens that are sideways and down. And that's going to give you the best kind of volume to go, the best kind of up and to the right. For example, take that with a grain of salt because it's not actually what it is, but that's what I'm aiming to look at. That's what I'm aiming to show and prove. So TRSI is one of the best examples, in my opinion, to show this process of what the liquidity bonding can actually do to a chart. So if you imagine this is your token plugging into, so let's just only take it from here. Your token plugs into the Atropa movement and plugs into everybody else's tokens. All our tokens are all plugged in together and we're all just going up and to the right. This is exactly what we want to see. And then if we all have the same kind of mindset, there's no greedy people and everybody's kind of working together and there's like this hive mind of understanding of, okay, just like in the Tangang where it's like, if there's too big of a seller, it's going to destroy the chart. So it's also going to have to get us to adjust our way of thinking about profit taking as well. Not that you shouldn't take profit, but we need to like be delicate about how we do this for the sustainability of the system, for the sustainability of the living organism or the planet that Maria actually refers to it as. So I hope now, again, I'm not going to show them all because it's just the same principle again and again. I hope now, I mean, look here, look at down, another one. Yep. Another one here. Look, they're essentially the same freaking charts, man. They're the same charts because of the bonding. This is Hart's law. This is exactly what Hart's law is. Legal, same thing. Look at legal compared to down. It's like, what? Is that the same token? No, it's not. but then you get uniqueness. You get these different qualities with different. So this is by the week. So this is TSFI to Atropa. It's a completely different looking chart where you can do ratio trading and arbitrage. So you're staying within the system, and by staying within the system, you're creating volume and arbitrage, which is rippling out to everybody else. So even as I explain it more and more, please understand, I've never once on this channel said that I'm an expert. I've never once come to you guys and said, oh, I'm the master of everything and I know everything. I've always said I'm just learning, and I'm just trying to share the things that I'm learning. By sharing these things, it also creates a clarity in my mind. That's why in yesterday's video, as I was going through it, at the start, when I actually was writing it all down, I thought, okay, with the donations, it would be good to liquidity, to bond the liquidity with other people's tokens, then burn it, and then it doesn't get touched ever again. But for example, if a whale sends me some Atropa and I burn it with my token, well, what if I want to add some of my Atropa into that liquidity pool, and then in the future, the yield that's coming out of that, well, I can't take it out because it's liquidity burn, for example. But then I thought, oh well, maybe like I think it would still be better to liquidity burn everything. That's what I'm thinking. Just liquidity burn everything, and then if I do want yield and things from Atropa, I'll just make my own thing on the side, like what I've got now, my own liquidity pools, and that's where I'm actually collecting any yield that I want. I can take it out. I don't actually take any of the yield out of that system. Everything that gets put into there just gets burnt in liquidity. The only thing that I'm taking out of there is my own token supply, and that's the thing. That's where if everybody replicates that system, you are self-autonomous, you are self-reliant, you are working with the system, you are a benevolent player in the system, and you are part of the whole, and the whole is the part. So it's one and the same. So it's coexisting. So again, I hope that makes it a little bit clearer. And if it's not, I'm going to continue to try and explain this in different ways. And this is also why it's an experiment. It could completely fail. Something could go wrong. I have no doubt that there's going to be some point in time where it's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have bonded those two tokens together, because that token there, they've done this and they've rug pulled, and now it's screwed up my supply, and then that creates a chain effect. Like, it's a very delicate thing that has to be worked out over time. And again, it'll be much easier if I just kept it to myself, but I'm trying to help everybody win together so we can have this Pulsechain city, this Pulsechain living organism, which in my opinion, if this actually plays out, makes us the #1 blockchain on the planet. There's no way that it can be defeated if we're all working in harmony, all working in sync. Just really think about it logically. Think about it logically. One blockchain with 10,000 minds all working together towards a one cause, or one blockchain with 10,000 people all competing against each other to like fucking hyenas, like ravaging the carcass and fighting each other for that liquidity. Really think about it. What's going to work better? It's the former, working together, being selfless, being grateful, being humble, having the right mindset. Yeah, I'll say no more. I'll keep delivering it. And for the people who are being grateful and positive, I really appreciate it. Please keep putting those positive comments in the description. It really keeps me going, because yeah, the negativity does get to me. I keep getting like negative stuff, and it's like, man, it really stings the heart, because we're one mind. They don't actually understand that they're polluting. Like, when you hurt, they hurt. People don't understand that concept because they're so self-centered and so in their mind. That's just how we all are. But that's just the fact of the matter. And it's like, it's like, it's hurtful, because it's like I'm coming up here with good intentions, but people with their greed and their selfishness and their negativity, yeah, but it's whatever. I'm going to keep doing it for the benefit of the whole. And it's just something that I'm going to have to overcome. And I also realize it hurts so much because this is what I've done to people in the past. So it is like a form of repentance. It's actually the universe showing me the kind of minds that I have, the kind of energy that I've put out into the world is coming back to me, and I have to suffer and I have to shed those layers of that false self in order to continue to go towards the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Let's coexist together.